Hello, EN 297 Liars Club students. It's Professor Lisa Wiley Maslow here. I just thought it was appropriate to make a video announcement for what we're moving into for the next couple of weeks. First off, I've been trying to keep up with all of your wonderful discussion boards, and I noticed most of you liked Mary Carr's voice better in Lit than you did in Liars Club. You appreciated them both and their nuances and their differences, and most of you said you just appreciated her more reflective, mature, perhaps mother's voice this last memoir than you did in her first. In all honesty, I guess I just love Scout in To Kill a Mockingbird. I know she's fiction, but I just love the young narrative voice in that it was so powerful that I actually liked her voice a little bit better in The Liars Club. But that's neither here nor there, as long as you could support with evidence and quotes which voice you like better. And many of you said, really they're different. They are different if it's obviously the same woman with just different lenses on, different set of lenses at different parts of her life as she wrote them. I did want to introduce A Moveable Feast by Ernest Hemingway. Hope you have your copy. If not, get to your local library to get one, but it's been on your syllabus since day one. And I just thought it important in this, it's mainly Mary Carr, but in this memoir course, to hear another voice. And in Hemingway himself will call this a series of autobiographical sketches that add up to a memoir. It'll take us to 1920s Paris when he's a very young man. He's a newlywed with his first of four wives, looking relatively this age, not that old man in the sea with the white beard that we think of in his later work, but a young man in his 20s. Um, in Paris, an expatriate in Paris who comes across F. Scott Fitzgerald, James Joyce, Gertrude Stein. I mean, just what an amazing creative scene he's going to bring us to. And I thought they're just such a wonderful juxtaposition. We've got, East Texas, and we got Paris, expatriate, but both just remarkably brilliant voices, these two writers. So as you get into this, I wanted to start with this opening quote to get you to his title. Hemingway said, "If you are lucky enough to have lived in Paris as a young man, then wherever you go for the rest of your life, it stays with you. For Paris is a movable feast." And that's neat. Paris stays with you. It is a movable feast. So on that note, before you start reading it, if you look in the folder for A Moveable Feast, Ken Burns just has this wonderful documentary out on Hemingway. So when you look at Ken Burns's video segment that I have there, I think it's about 16 minutes in total. It's just carrying us into his writing philosophy, Hemingway's, and his early years. Click on all four segments that I have up there for you, just to introduce us to the 1920s of Paris of Hemingway's day. So you want to start there on the video. You also want to read a scholarly article that I put up there from our literary database on SUNY Erie campus. The title of that article is "The Slipperiness of Narrative Truthmaking, the Neuroscience of Memory in Hemingway's A Moveable Feast" by Cam Cobb. And for this week, you'll of course have a few discussion board questions that are up for you. One of them will be based on that video. One of them will be based on that article that you're to read. I'm going to ask you to explain a connection between that article and even what you see in Mary Carr's work, because she's always saying that memory is malleable as you look back on it. I give you that article because it's the quality of article that you're going to be looking for in the next few weeks after we get past midterms. Midterms are due this Friday, the 21st. I just give a P for passing or an F for failing at the midterm. We still have many, many more points left, so you'll have time to bring things up because our analytical or research project will be due after the midterm. We'll have a few weeks to work on it. I hope to post it shortly after the midterm so you can get a concept of the big picture of the analytical piece. You can focus just on Hemingway. You can focus just on Mary Carr's work. You can even do a compare contrast or a connective thread that you see going between the two. If you come up with a new idea, chances are I am going to say yes. I teach creative writing here as well, but there will be some formal topics as well as some room for option. But I will lay those down after midterm. And then when we finish up after that, you'll just be doing 2 chapters of your own memoir. And bear in mind with that, you're allowed to use pages that you've already turned in for me. I hope you read the comments and polish them up or expand upon them because they're not quite long enough yet. But that project is 2 5-page chapters of your memoir, of your own memoir. But you'll get the formal guidelines of that, pretty soon after the midterms grades are due. So bear that in mind. Bear in mind, a week from today, I'm recording this on Sunday, the 16th. Bear that, by the way, happy St. Patrick's Day tomorrow. For many of you will be watching this on Monday on St. Patrick's Day. But bear in mind, you have your fourth midterm, not, I'm sorry, your fourth memoir assignment for me, where you write about a rite of passage, which could be anything for you, whether it was learning how to ride your bike, if you could develop it into 3 pages, if there's enough sensory detail, if there's enough way to get that to 3 pages, even getting your braces off, if you could get that to 3 pages, if you read whatever those details were for you. And it could certainly be things like even eighth grade graduation, a moving up ceremony. It could be high school graduation. Whatever you see as a rite of passage in your culture, in our American culture, it'll work for me. So bear that in mind. I gave you longer to work on that one. So that's due, let me see, the 23rd by midnight, the fourth installment of the memoir assignment, and there'll also be a set of discussion board questions on A Moveable Feast. We will take 2 weeks to read A Moveable Feast, and I'm dividing it literally in half, and that'll be all be up on the discussion board. But it's also divided into titled vignettes, just like Lit was. Remember, there was a title to each of her vignettes. Did she get that idea from Hemingway? Quite possibly. So vignettes 1 through 15 will be the first week. That'll take us through An Agent of Evil. And then you'll have vignette 16 through the ending, which is Nada y pues nada. So bear that all in mind. I'm excited to hear what you think of the differences or any similarities in their voices, but just from two completely authors, masters of their craft and of their discipline. So we got about a lot going on here. And again, I'm excited for you to dive into Hemingway. Just be sure you have a copy and you don't fall behind. And we'll talk soon. Bye now.